as a legislative assistant for Governor Newsom, what has that experience kind of been like being in those rooms? Do you notice that it is that hyper polarized in nature? Is there any common ground whatsoever?
So I say this a lot. If anyone is pessimistic about politics, come to California, like come to Sacramento and see all the stuff that gets done. And, you can't say that that wouldn't happen without a supermajority, of Democratic legislators. But regardless of party, if you have a good idea, you can get stuff done here. And I think that California is such an absurdly diverse state, and there's 40 million people, and there's different types of areas every which way, and people struggling every which way. But so much does get done every single year. This year, yes, not a good test case. This year's a hard year. And the governor set his incredible budget in January trying to do all these things. And obviously a lot of that has been, shifted because of the pandemic. But I truly think that you look at California and you can start feeling a little more optimistic about politics. Yes, California is propped up as a democratic land, and people think that from all over the country, and of course it is, and it's a coastal state. But regardless of party, you honestly, I feel working there, you're respected and you're listened to, regardless of the bill you're pushing, regardless of the organization you're a part of. And I think that's definitely an important kind of caveat there, and understanding that if you listen, that I think we do here in our legislative system, if you listen and you're reasonable, not everybody is reasonable by far, but if you're reasonable, you can make actual change for your constituents.
Mm-hmm. From my understanding, local politics is less polarized than national politics. I've had a little bit of experience in my county's legislature, and what I've seen is whether they're on the right or on the left, they both kind of get along with each other. Why do you think that the narrative gets so polarized and so skewed as we move up to the national level?
I think it feels to people that the stakes get bigger, which isn't necessarily true, right?
Yeah.
Your local government is really who's affecting your day-to-day life, not the president, not the governor. But I think it feels oh, this is the presidential election. This is a Senate election. This is a, gubernatorial election. And it feels that the stakes are really high. And they absolutely are. I mean, governors, presidents have absurd amounts of power, but so do the people who are representing you day to day. I do think, though, as we move, obviously with, defunding the police movements, for example, and others, schools reopening, you are seeing a renewed focus on your local officials. And you're seeing kind of those local officials being put in the hot seat at these meetings, and constituents are looking to them for answers. And maybe they weren't prepared for that in some places, and maybe they are in others. And obviously it's partisan. I mean, Orange County just, voted that they're going back to school and masks are not required. And the governor had to step in and say, you're not going back to school. And when you do, masks are required. But so it's kind of, hopefully you can trust your local officials. I think in the bigger counties, it gets harder. You're representing a lot of different subsets of people.